Hey, hi everyone. This is your host Aryan, and I'm a first year undergraduate at IIT Kharagpur. And I welcome you all to Seeking the Horizon, the very first episode. And I wish you all a very happy new year. So, in this podcast, we had a talk with Priyans, the CEO and co founder of Younginiers. We had talks about entrepreneurship, about innovation, about managing time, about how to start early, and much more stuff. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Hello, Priyansh,
Sure,
and
yeah.
I welcome you to Seeking the Horizon. And we are glad to have you here today. This is our very first episode, and I'm looking forward for a very great conversation with you. So, yeah, how are you doing?
Hi Aryan. I'm great. It's amazing to be here, and I think it's gonna be a great conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Priyansh, let me ask you that as a third person, if you're asked who is Priyansh Lakhotia, how would you define like who is Priyansh to our audience?
Uh, so Priyansh Lakhotia is a normal 11th grader who goes to school and just wants to do something exciting.
Okay, that's really great. So, starting with the topic, like you are here, we all know for our audience, let us tell them what is Young Genius, like what it is all about.
So Youngeniers is a startup that I founded, and Youngeniers makes educational toys and kits for children from ages 3 to 15. And we teach children about concepts of science, technology, engineering, and maths in a very fun and engaging manner.
That's great. That's great, Priyansh. And let me ask you, like in a fun way, if is there any story behind it? Like when you got this idea, how was it? Like how did you come up with this?
So it was a year ago, and I've always been that person who likes to do a lot of different things. So I was always doing some science experiment, or I was always making some robot or something like that. And that all those things, they kind of pushed me towards liking science and maths. And I also have a 6-year-old sister, so I did a similar thing with her. So I used to do experiments with her or do something cool. And she also started gaining an interest. And that is when I got this idea that I can actually help children to not be afraid of maths and science as they grow older by making it interesting for them when they're much younger. So that's when I got the idea. Also, during COVID, I got a lot of time to think because I was at home. I didn't have to travel to school and all those things. So I was saving a lot of time, and I got the opportunity to think that I could actually build a business. So that is what enabled me. COVID enabled me to start my own business.
That sounds really cool, Priyansh. So, like, I was curious about it. You started Young Genius when you were like you got the idea when you were in your 10th standard. So, me myself being an Indian student, 10th standard is that typical boards thing. So, working this idea out when you were in your 10th standard, the so-called societal pressure that your board exams are there, or even your family, how did they support you in this idea right when you were in 10th standard?
So honestly, when I started, my family neither agreed me to pursue this and they neither denied me of pursuing this idea. So I had to first prove to them that I could do this. So I was asked to design the toys. I was asked to create the educational videos that I give behind my toys, and do all these little things. And once I proved to my parents that I could do it, that is when they said that, "Huh, you can do this. We'll invest in your business." And 10th is, of course, a very stressful year, but I was able to manage my time in such a way that I could give equal importance to my board exams and also to my business without my studies getting harmed in any way.
Definitely. I feel that this is a very great takeaway from here, that you need to prove yourself first before getting any idea out of it rather than cramming about it. So, yeah, definitely that is very good. Priyansh, let us tell our audience what is basically STEM education. Like most of the people don't know about it. What is STEM education? So, what can you tell about like STEM education?
So STEM, it's an abbreviation for science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's these subjects, I believe that they make the core of our modern world. That is the technological world that we are living in. And all these four different things, science, technology, engineering, and math, I believe that they help us to understand whatever is happening around us. Not to say that other things like social science and are not important, but these make the core of what we can perceive from the outside world. And I want to help children and into reasoning about how exactly that they reason things rather than just believe them. They question things and find their own answers. And STEM enables them to do that.
Okay, that sounds also very interesting, Priyansh. I would like to ask you that what role do you play, like being a co-founder and CEO for Young Genius? What roles do you play at the company, and how is your family support and family involvement in your business?
So after I came up with this idea, I of course needed people to help me build this into an actual business. And because this is a designing, manufacturing, and marketing business, it requires a lot of people. So my mother, she was the first person to join, and she helps me in the sourcing of materials. So she's the one who talks to suppliers, who gets the lowest prices and all those sort of things. That's what my mother does. And my uncle is also involved in this business. So he had quite a few years of manufacturing knowledge and he was experienced in that. And we he helps me manufacture my toys, and handle the labor and the stock and all of those things. The other co-founder is my grandfather. So he actually got retired, but he came out of his retirement just to help me start my business. And he's not the sort of person who really understands the way that modern startups work. So he does not understand e-commerce, or he does not understand digital marketing. But what he brings with himself is decades of experience and discipline, and he's really a very valuable co-founder. And of course, there's my father. So he invested in my company. He doesn't work like in this company because he has a job, but he helps me with whatever he has learned to manage a team or manage the timeline and all those sort of things.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really a complete package. Like you have the experience and the young ideas as well, and that turned out really great for you to work on that. So about your startup, I guess you somewhere mentioned about it, like bridging the gap between the practical and the theoretical knowledge. I feel this is also a very important key point which we need to discuss. And what is your take on this?
So in our current schooling method, a lot of the emphasis is given on theoretical knowledge. So we are learning from books, we are learning definitions and examples and those sort of things. And when you go out into the actual world, no one is asking you what's the definition of a certain concept. And that's where this theoretical has less of a relevance, and practical learning is very important. And a lot of the intangible values like confidence and persistence and all those sort of things, that is what practical knowledge is also about. So my toys, they of course teach these science and math concepts in a practical manner, in an intuitive manner to younger children. But then they also cover skills such as confidence and perseverance and all these sort of things in their toys.
It is very practically approached thing. That was great, even Priyansh. So let me ask you, how was your experience at Shark Tank? And like before that, can you tell the people about Shark Tank? Like most of the people don't know what Shark Tank is because this is very new in India. So can you tell our audience like what is Shark Tank?
Sure. So Shark Tank is a TV show which is one of a kind. So it's an investment show where entrepreneurs can pitch their ideas in front of the investors called sharks. And if the entrepreneurs like their business idea, then they can invest in the entrepreneurs in the business. So, and it's presented as a TV show. And I got the opportunity to go to Shark Tank. And as of this recording, my episode has not been aired. I've just come in a few advertisements, so I can't tell you everything that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shark Tank is a TV show.
Yeah, that's great. Like being a 16-year-old kid in India, representing his business at a national television. I feel that is a very remarkable achievement, and you would be very proud of it as well, because that's what something a key achievement that you
Thanks.
have made. So yeah. Also, I was going through your toys, and like all the toys that you have mentioned, and the upper age limit that you mentioned for your toys is 122 years. So can you tell the people what is the reason behind it, and like what is the idea?
So I'm glad that you noticed, and and basically 122 years is the oldest that any person has ever lived, and I'm saying that any person from a minimum age to 122 years can enjoy our toys. And if tomorrow, if someone lives till 123 years, then I'll change my packaging.
Okay, that's amazing, Priyansh. Like sort of a different kind of thing which you came up, and yeah, that's great. Priyansh, let me ask you that your toys, the toys which you make, they are mostly the wooden toys. So, considering the environmental issues which we have currently at a global stage as well as at national stage, plastic is being used. It is not decomposable. So, is there any recycling concept involved when you decided that the toys should be made of wood rather than using conventional plastic?
So, not usually toys are made of plastic and through a method called injection molding. And my toys are not made from that method. We use wood, which was the best material that we could find. And honestly, recycling is something that I focus on in my company. So even though I have another goal, which is to reduce the wastage. So whatever designs I make, whatever things are getting manufactured, I minimize the wastage. And that is also something that helps the environment rather than wood just being a decomposable substance. Also, there are newer methods of manufacturing that are coming, like 3D printing at a mass scale. And for that, you do require plastic, but for the time being, I'll focus on wood.
Okay. Yeah. So you are considering all the points which are required, like you are also taking care of the environment, delivering some great things for the younger generation. So it's a very good work, Priyansh. Also, Priyansh, your toys are completely made. Like I want to tell the audience as well, they are completely made in India, and I guess there is a local facility at Navi Mumbai where the toys are being made. So yeah, you kind of like promoting the Make in India scheme which the government has, and being a young entrepreneur, I feel that the more products and services that we can get from India, that would be very good. So I feel that you have the same idea with you as well.
Yeah, and I can see you've done your homework. I do
Yeah.
manufacture in Navi Mumbai, and yeah, Make in India is something that does not only help the local economy, it even helps me to reduce my costs as well and give employment to the local people in the factory area.
Okay. Okay. That's great. That's great. Can you tell us about the video content creation about the toys? Like this was a very unique idea which I found at Young Genius, that you are not only providing the toys to the students, or the younger generation, but you're also giving them some video related content by which they can learn from them. So can you please elaborate on that? Like, our audience would love to hear about it.
So, educational toys by itself, of course, there are many educational toy manufacturers in the world, and a few of them are in India as well. And I wanted to bring some uniqueness to my product. And what I felt with the current educational toys in the market, which my 6-year-old sister was using, was that she used to play with those toys, but the learning of those concepts was not being fully achieved. So I found that videos are a very engaging method for children. And if they watch videos, it's much more interesting reading it from a book. And that's when I thought that I can include educational videos that I make with my toys to make the learning process much easier.
Okay, yeah, that was a very, like, I need to accept it, like, it was a very unique idea. It was the first time I was seeing something like that. So yeah. And more of it, you also contribute, like, you design the toys, you yourself design the toys. So how did you come up with it, like the designing part? Like, were you firstly interested in designing, or did you learn for the business itself? And how it goes, how the process goes of designing and manufacturing?
So I did not learn designing for just this business. I was designing since I was in 7th standard. So I used to design smaller things like cars or something that I could see in the real world, and I used to make it on computer. And I also was involved in a few competitions where I was required to work in a team, and I was the main designer over there. So that's when I was introduced to the world of designing. And after that, I just had to reapply my skills to the designing of toys, because I'm actually making something physically. It's a physical good, so it requires a new set of skills. But I had that base of designing and the process. So basically, I think of a concept, right? I see that children can be taught this concept, and I make a toy based on this concept. And more often than not, that toy does not work the first time you make it. So I prototype it and it does not work. I prototype it again and again, it does not work. This goes on for at least 4 or 5 times till I have somewhat of a toy that actually children can use. And then I test it out with children. So I see how they're responding to it, how I can improve the toy. And after going through these iterations, I finally come up with a toy that saves that is fun for children, that is easy for them to build, because our toys are build it yourself. And I also ensure that these toys save the most amount of material. I have to put in less material and get the most out of it.
Yeah, so this is also a very good takeaway from here, that we might, from the consumer side, we may think that this is a one time process, you just design and put it out, just manufacture and sell it. But yeah, there is a rigorous process out there. You have to try it multiple times, and like as you said, then it finally somewhat works. So Priyansh, let me ask you, like, being a 11th grader, um, what are you pursuing currently? Being in a different question, what are you currently doing apart from your business?
I'm currently pursuing the ISC for 11th and 12th standard, and I've taken the subjects physics, chemistry, math, business, apart from the compulsory English. And this takes up most of my time after my business, studying in school.
Okay, that's great, Priyansh. And I also went through some more details, and I got to know that you were involved in some space settlement competitions as well. You were in a competition which was at an Asia level platform. You got some awards and recognitions as well. So can you please, like, this is not related to directly to young genius, but can you tell the experience about it? And our audience would love to know some different kind of things from you, like what is a space settlement competition and how you go about it.
Yeah. So I started participating in these space settlement competitions when I was in 8th standard. And I was always interested in space and rockets and all those sort of things. And space settlement is basically a home for people in space or on a different planet. And that is what it was about. So I built a team first of other students who were interested, and we used to design these space settlements, used to think about how the food is going to be grown on the settlement, how we're going to get sunlight, or how we're going to get water, and all those sort of different things. And we used to make a project on that and submit it for the competitions. And then as I progressed in ninth and 10th standard, I reached the Asia level, in which a lot of different students from different countries were coming. So like China and Thailand and UAE, a lot of these, Iran, and we were competing with them to make the best settlement and the most feasible settlement. And this is also where I learned my designing skills.
So you have a really good background, and like you were involved in these things from your very early childhood, I would say. So that's also great. So Priyansh, talking about young genius specifically, where do you see young genius in the coming years? Like, what plans do you have for your expansion? Like, not completely, of course, but what is your motto in the coming years to make young genius do, like, to serve more?
So honestly, in one single sentence, my goal with Young Genius is to make sure that children are never scared of maths and science. So that's my main goal. I want them to be interested in these subjects and present it to them in an interesting way. And in the next 2 or 3 years, I have, of course, plans for growth, how I can go where I am today into a profitable, sustainable business. And yeah, I won't be telling a lot about the business plans because it will take a lot of time. Um, but yeah, actually grow this India wide. That's my goal for now.
Okay, Priyansh, amazing plans you have got, and the motto is also very good. To think about the younger generation, because they are the ones who are going to uplift the country in the coming years. So yeah. Also, I had some questions to discuss with you, as you are into business, or we may say entrepreneurship, coming up with an idea at such a young age. Like you are hardly 16 years old, coming up with an idea, starting with it. So what you can tell about entrepreneurship, or to the young audience who is watching here, what you would like to tell them? Like somewhere I read that a person in a year gets 5 ideas who can make him a billionaire. But the problem which occurs is the execution of the idea. Many people just get the idea, but they don't work on it. You worked, and it turned out to be pretty well. So what would you like to say about this?
So I'm not exactly sure if there are 5 ideas that a person gets in the entire year to make them a billionaire, but I think it is possible. Like if you think of something vague, like, okay, I'm going to build a space tourism company that'll probably earn you trillions of dollars. But execution is, of course, a very big challenge, because if 100 people get an idea, probably 10 are going to execute it, and possibly one is going to succeed. And that is often a very scary thing to think about as an entrepreneur. But it's also exciting. And if only you can think that you can execute it, you have to take a leap of faith first. You have to take some risks, whether it's financial, whether it's about your career choice. And if you think that you are going to take these risks, and you're willing to accept the opportunity cost that these risks bring, then I think entrepreneurship is for you, and you can become a successful entrepreneur. And this is coming from a person who's not successful right now, but this is what I believe.
Okay, Priyans. So, like taking risk is one of the major factors. You have to go by your gut feeling somewhere or the other thing. You don't have much data. Like I also don't think you had much data analytics or kind of a trajectory to follow. You just had an idea to start with.
Yeah.
You discussed it with your family, and you finally worked on it, and it turned out pretty well. Like, can you give a message to all our audience who are sitting here, by your all journey, the whole journey you went through, a small message for our audience, from your experience, whatever you can say.
If I had to give one tip or one idea to all the people who are listening, it is that always think about what you're going to do. So don't just leave it to the future, plan it out. Most probably it's not going to work out the way you wanted it to go. So it's probably going to be worse or it's probably going to be better. But think about what you're going to do next. Just don't stop anywhere or don't procrastinate. And that's the most important thing. Just keep doing it.
Okay. So, like, living in the present is what I can make of this. Taking the decisions at this moment, the time we got is now, and we have to make the most out of it. So that is what you want to convey, I feel. And yeah, I feel that that is a really important thing to go with. So yeah, Priyansh, definitely, it was a great time with you. We had some very good insights. Like me also talking to an entrepreneur. This is for the first time we are recording this. I have been in front of a camera talking with someone. This is also the first time for me, and I felt that it definitely added to my knowledge. Talking to such people really brings out great value, not just for me, but the audience who is going to watch this. They are also going to be very enlightened by all the things that you have said. So yeah, I wish you all the best for all your future plans regarding young genius, and I wish you all the best for Shark Tank also. Like, I will personally watch the episode. I wish you all the best
Thank you so
for
much.
all your future plans.
I'd like to say something before ending. Congratulations to you, Aryan, and all your classmates for taking this initiative, because I think it is very important for young people to be aware of what they can do and not just following a simple path that is laid out for them, because there is no path at the end. There is nothing. You have to make your own path, and it's great that you're doing this. So it was a pleasure talking to you.
That was great. Thank you for your wishes, Priyansh. And we would definitely bring some very great content for our audience as well, because we are somewhere working with the same motto as of yours. As you want the young generation to learn with the STEM ideas, we also want them to explore whatever they can. And I feel whatever decisions you make, it is all mostly about your exploration thing. The more things you explore, the better you get with your decisions. So yeah, it was a great time with you, Priyansh. Thank you for being on this podcast as a guest. It was great.
My pleasure.